All right, picking up where our last video left off, fossils started coming around, so it made people rethink the way that they thought of the world. At that time as well, in the 1700s, many scientists believed that species could not go extinct. They didn't understand this concept of extinction. And hopefully, you know, extinction means no longer existing, right? No longer being around. So obviously the fossils, we'd find fossils or bones or whatever of species that weren't around. You had to start going, well, where'd they go? They're not here anymore. What?
You said that species could not go extinct.
Did I say it wrong?
Yes.
Yeah, they thought that. That's what, no, I said that right. They thought scientists of the day said, no, there is no such thing as extinction. But we obviously know it is, and the fossil records showed us of that. I put a white rhino on here. This isn't just any white rhino. This is the northern white rhino. Not to be confused with the southern white rhino, which there are some of those. How many northern white rhino do you believe is on this earth right now? 0, 20. What'd you say, Ponce? 2 is the right answer. Currently in the world that we live in, guys and girls, there are 2 northern white rhino. They have been killed off because of their horn primarily. Some of their climate's changed a little bit, stuff like that. But people have cut their horn off. In a lot of Eastern medicines, people think that it has magical or healing powers. That is not true at all. It is simply keratin. And keratin is the same protein that makes up our fingernails, toenails, and hair. Yes, theirs is a little different in the way that it comes together, but it's just keratin. So these lovely animals have been killed to the point of extinction for no good reason. Yes, Ponce? Just thick hair. That's all it is. It's just like thick, really thick, well put together hair. The reason I'm telling you this is because this kind of ties in last unit as well. There's only 2, right? And it's a boy and a girl, a male and a female. That's great news, right? They should have babies. There's 2 problems with that. One is they're both pretty old. Most people believe, most biologists believe the female, even if she got pregnant, would not be able to carry that baby to term. It would die, and it might kill her as well. Their other problem with that is they're related. Okay, I can't remember if they're brother or sister or like first cousins. Oh, they do go by that. And Pine says they don't go by that. Don't use that music in class. They do, but they can be genetic errors when they do that. Ponce says that's why her dog came out with one short what? Bone? Leg? Okay, so inbreeding, no good for anybody. The reason I want you to think about this is we're starting to use biotechnology to think outside the box in this. San Diego Zoo is the world's largest zoo, I believe it is, or at least America's biggest zoo. It's one organization that's leading the charge in trying to save the northern white rhino. And they're doing it by several unorthodox ways. They have a lot of, not a lot, but several vials of frozen sperm and egg of the northern white rhino. So they're considering, what if we fertilize that egg with the sperm? The only problem is you need some surrogate, as it's called, somebody to carry that baby. So, and very good, Ponce coming through. They're considering using a southern white rhino, which is a very close relative. They're not the same species, but they're very, very close to each other. Possibly carry it to term, have this northern white rhino baby, make some more offspring that way. Yeah.
Similar, like that in Jurassic Park.
It does sound a little Jurassic Parky, but it's way more close to common practice. Okay. Another way they're looking at is using gene editing, just like we saw in the biotech film Human Nature. Possibly going in and making some changes because the northern white rhino did die off from overkilling or poaching, but they also had some genetic errors along the way, things that didn't let them live very long. They were more susceptible to certain diseases. And so they're considering, well, we got this sperm and egg. What if we went in this newly formed embryo after we fertilize them and make some gene edits, make some changes so hopefully they'll actually live longer. So that's one thing. The things that y'all learned in last unit is already being put into play in this circumstance. And it's all in efforts not to make a designer baby or bring back the woolly mammoth or something kind of out there a little bit, but in trying to save this rhino that there's 2 of now. If it doesn't work, sadly, the northern white rhino will be the latest extinction. So, sad day. Well, I bet he's been rolling in the dirt a little bit. And he's not white like a polar bear. All right, so the last little part of today is we're setting the stage for Darwin. Tomorrow we'll pick up and we'll talk about Darwin. Okay, we're going to learn about his life and some more things. You've learned it from that website last week. There's three things. This is important because it may be on your quiz later. There's three things that really set the stage for Darwin and his ideas. One was the Linnaean classification. Anything with Carus Linnaeus, coming up with these species names and the way that he did things. Darwin loved to read about Linnaeus. He was, kind of a hero to him because they both enjoyed nature. They both enjoyed learning about organisms. They liked kind of grouping things and understand why are there slight differences between some organisms that are related. So Linnaeus, but then also this idea that organisms change over time. Remember what you were just told earlier. Most scientists said, nope, everything's always been fixed the way that it is now. It's always been the same. Okay? This idea that things do change really sparked Darwin's mind. And then the fossils that gave us proof that some organisms aren't here anymore, or that they've changed the way that they look. These fossils prove that, set the stage for Darwin's ideas. Okay? That's the world that he came onto the scene in. Questions? If you got any questions at home, please email me. We can talk about it. We can video call or something like that if you need more instructions. If not, please use these to fill in your student notes and then also help you answer some quiz questions.